Good day, students. Do you enjoy eating with your friends and family? Especially when the food is delicious like this or like this. Do you know what happens to the food that you eat? Ano kaya ang nangyayari sa mga kinakain natin? Saan ito napupunta? Join me as we travel inside your body and let us learn together the parts of your digestive system. Chewing, or ang pagnguya, is the first process in food digestion, and it happens inside your mouth. Your teeth helps in chewing the food into small particles, small enough to be swallowed. Once you have completely chewed your food, and while still inside the mouth, the food then gets mixed with saliva or laway that is produced by the salivary glands. These salivary glands have names. You have the parotid gland, the one in red, found in front of your ears, the submandibular gland, the green one below the jaw, and the sublingual gland, which is the smallest, in blue, found in the floor of the oral cavity. These glands secrete enzymes like the amylase to digest carbohydrates and lipase to help break down fats in the food that you eat. After this, the tongue, which is a muscular organ in the mouth, helps to push the food down the throat so you will be able to swallow it. As you can see, the tongue has tiny bumps, and these are called papillae. The papillae gives the tongue a rough texture. And this is also where you find the taste buds. Taste buds are sensory organs that allow you to experience taste that are sweet, salty, sour, and bitter. As the food gets pushed backwards, it now enters the pharynx area. Ito yung tinatawag na lalaugan in Tagalog. The pharynx is the part of the throat at the back of the mouth and the nasal cavity. It serves as passageway to receive food and water from the oral cavity. And it also receives air from the nasal cavity. The food then goes down to another part of the digestive tract, and it is called the esophagus, or the food pipe. In Tagalog, lalamunan. It lies at the back of the trachea, which is the windpipe. You can see that the esophagus has upper esophageal sphincter and the lower esophageal sphincter. The upper esophageal sphincter keeps the food and the secretions from going to the windpipe to prevent you from choking from your food. The lower esophageal sphincter, which is found at the low end of the esophagus, prevents the backflow of food and acid, coming from the stomach. Now the food enters another part, which is the stomach. It is a muscular organ at the left upper part of the abdomen, and it is a large cavity that can hold large amount of food. The stomach has three functions. It receives food from the esophagus and serves as temporary storage of food. And when you look at the inside of the stomach, you will see that there are ridges of muscle tissue called rugae. These line the stomach and they help in the second function, which is mixing and breaking down of food. The stomach also secretes hydrochloric acid and enzymes like pepsin. Pepsin specifically digests proteins found in the food. Another muscular ring at the end of the stomach is called pyloric sphincter. It opens to allow the food from the stomach to pass to the small intestine. The food then now enters the small intestine. The small intestine is a long, narrow, folded or coiled tube, and the main function is to absorb nutrients from what we eat and drink. When you look at the inside of the small intestine, you will see tiny finger-like structures that line the small intestine and gives it a look and feel of a velvet. These are called villi. The small intestines can be divided into three parts. The first part, the one that connects to the stomach, is the duodenum, followed by the jejunum, and lastly, the ileum, which connects to the large intestines. When the food reaches the small intestine, a lot of enzymes and juices from the liver and pancreas mix with it to help break them down before they get absorbed. Now, before we move on to the remaining part of the digestive tract, let us look at the liver first. The liver is a large, reddish, meaty organ that sits on the right upper part of the belly. It has a right lobe and a left lobe. And you can see a green pouch that sits under it. It is called the gallbladder. The liver secretes bile. The bile is stored in the gallbladder. The bile is a greenish liquid that is secreted into the duodenum in order to break down the fats from the food. Other functions of the liver include producing proteins that are important for blood clotting, removing toxins or poisonous substances in the blood, and regulating blood sugar levels. After the liver, let us now look at the pancreas. The pancreas is this yellow, long, flat glandular organ that is found at the back of the stomach. You can see that it has a head, a body, and a tail. The pancreas secretes digestive enzymes and juices which help digest all food particles, and this is through a pancreatic duct that opens into the duodenum. The pancreas also releases hormones in the blood, including insulin, which help control blood sugar. So, as the food gets absorbed in the small intestine, there are excess food that will not be absorbed and will then be delivered to the large intestine. This tube, also known as the colon, is shorter and wider than the small intestine. In this picture, you will see that the colon has different parts. The first part is the cecum, where the appendix is connected. From the cecum, it goes upwards to become the ascending colon, next as the transverse colon, down as the descending colon, sigmoid colon, the rectum, and finally the anus, wherein there is a hole where the fecal material and poop or poo-poo comes out. Now, the main function of the large intestine is for absorption of water and electrolytes. But it can also store fecal matter until it is removed out of the body. Now, the colon has a lot of bacteria inside it. These bacteria break down undigested carbohydrates, which result in gas production. This gas is then released through the anus as what you know as fart or flatus. Now you know how food travels inside your digestive system, starting from putting the food in your mouth until you take a trip to the bathroom for poo-poo. So, children, take good care of your body. Eat healthy so that you will live healthy. Thank you.